Hello everyone, my name is Dane Paul Andres, and this is my presentation on designing with the golden ratio. So what is the golden ratio, and how does this aid in design? The golden ratio is best understood as the proportion 1 is to 1.168. The golden ratio is the common mathematical ratio found in nature that can be used to create pleasing, natural-looking compositions in design work. It has been used throughout history and is an integral part in creating aesthetically beautiful designs. Also known as the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio has captivated mathematicians, artists, designers, and scientists for centuries. Its ubiquity and astounding functionality in nature suggests its importance as a fundamental characteristic of the universe. In this presentation, I will show you how I learned to create a golden ratio grid and use golden circles to render a design from a sketch, as well as other useful tools and techniques in Adobe Illustrator. I began with a new document in Illustrator and drawing a perfect square with the rectangle tool. Holding down Option and dragging below, I made another copy. I then made another square, this time bigger, and aligned it next to the two squares I just created. It is important that your squares are aligned. For this, I used Smart Guides feature. I then selected all the squares I created and rotated it 90 degrees to repeat the process. Here I am again selecting all of the squares I've created and resizing them to fit my artboard by holding down the Shift key. Keep repeating the same steps, creating a square and rotating it 90 degrees until I have what I need for the project. This usually depends on how big the design is, but 6 squares should be enough. Once I have all my squares, I place them at the upper corner of my artboard, just as a preference, so it is out of the way. And with everything selected, I hit the right key to create guides from the squares. Now I have a golden ratio grid to create the golden circles for my design. So now we've already have a golden ratio grid, so we can go ahead and create golden circles to use to create the design. With the ellipse tool, I find center of each square in my grid and draw a circle starting from the inside going out. I hold down the Option and Shift keys while doing so. So I repeat this with all of the squares that I have in my grid. And basically these are the circles that we will be using to create the design later on. Once I have all my circles, I hold down Option and I just drag them off to the side. It doesn't need to be perfectly aligned like this, because we will be centering them in a few moments here. There you go. And once I have all my circles, I select all and I align them horizontally centered and vertically centered. And there you go. Now we're ready to recreate a sketch of a turtle using the golden circles that we made. So I started off by creating a template from the design and just kind of resizing it to the circles, just because we do not want to mess with the proportions of the golden circles that we just made, or that would have just void the golden ratio grid. So as you see, I'm aligning the shapes of my design to the circles that I have, and if necessary I go into my outline mode just to really get in there and align where these shapes intersect, and also makes it very good before we start combining them with our shape builder tool. So I continue just building the turtle with the different sizes of circles that I have. Obviously, the more complicated the design, the more overlapping that you will get. But don't you worry, once we start omitting some of these shapes and start building with our shape builder tool, we'll start to see that turtle once again. There we go. I think we're ready to build with our shape builder tool. If you hold down Option while clicking on unwanted shapes in the design, it automatically deletes them and erases them, just like you see. But if you don't want them to be erased, just don't hold on to the Option key and it will start combining all the shapes that you've selected. Our turtle is starting to form. Again, if you need to, I would go into the outline tool or the outline view option, just so I do not miss any shapes that may be too small to see. There we go, our turtle is forming. I might round off the fins here, and then we should get ready for some coloring. Stay tuned. So now we have our created turtle from using the golden ratio and the golden circles for an aesthetically pleasing design. Now we can show you how we can color this to make it even more dynamic. So I already created two gradient here as our palette. For the body I used a grayish kind of color, and for the shell I'm going to use this blue gradient that I created. So by hitting Command G, I'm able to change the direction of the gradient, so you can adjust that to your liking. So right now I'm going to create some dimension in the shell, and I'm going to do this really simply by copying the shell and just changing the gradient that I already have to something, maybe a white on white with radiating opacity. I also changed the style that I have in terms of overlaying it. So here you saw me hit it with a soft light. So I repeat that process again, and I've now created ridges in the shell. There you go, our turtle is looking a little bit more interesting now. So now we've added some color and dimension in the shell. Now we're going to do the same to the body. So just simply using the pen tool, I create an arch that I'm slightly adjusting here. Then I complete the shape. After completing the shape, I use the shape builder tool again just to erase what I do not need. But I have to highlight the body as well, just so I can get those sections. I use the eyedropper tool to grab that gray palette, gray gradient that I made, and also change the opacity to multiply just to make that a little bit darker. There we go. As you can see, it creates a nice shadow. I lowered the opacity to 50%. There we go. Now with the pen tool again, I do the same thing this time from the mouth just to where his fin is. And again, create an arch and include the shape. Select the body, and once again use the shape builder tool just to omit that section that I don't need. And since I've already done this treatment to the shadow underneath the shell, all I need to do is really take the eyedropper tool and just sample that color or that treatment that I just made. There we go. Now just get the underbelly of the turtle as our final design. Again, just repeating the process, really simple steps to create more dimension in this turtle that we have. And there you go. We have now created a turtle from design using the golden ratio and using the golden circles. Hope you enjoyed learning what I've learned, and hopefully that you get to apply this in your designs as well. I hope this presentation both informs and inspires you to create with the golden ratio as it continues to exist all around us and in design. My name is Dane Paul Andress. Thank you for watching Designing with the Golden Ratio.